I think we're set to start like the Tuesday after we get back from spring break.
Okay, and then let me switch to recruiting, if you would. I mean, the class that you're talking about is right around the 20 number.
We'll probably, I would anticipate in February, we will be somewhere in the mid to high teens to possibly low 20s.
Okay. Has anything changed based on what you saw on the field this year in terms of looking at specific positions or looking at more immediacy to fill holes? Or
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the offensive line and the secondary are huge priorities for us. And there will be an opportunity for freshmen to play early there just because of the depth issues, and we got to play the best players. You know, certainly with Willie leaving, getting a quality tailback's a priority. Receiver is a big concern because, you know, the 5 top receivers next year, 5 of the top 7 receivers are going to be seniors next year. So that's going to become a huge position of need in 2012. And getting some defensive ends that can rush the passer. You know, we graduate Angelo Magnone, we graduate Darius Smith and Lewis Parks. And, you know, we played better up front, but we have not got a lot of production from our defensive ends in terms of rushing the passer. And so getting some good defensive ends in here that can get after a quarterback is certainly a big priority.
Last year you talked about the class was recruiting the state of Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still the same status, or is that something that's expanded at all?
Well, I mean, I think we're going to expand a little bit because I think, you know, for 2 years we've had such a numbers issue that we had to sign 25 players in big classes, and we certainly want to do a great job in our backyard. And if you look at the last 2 recruiting classes, clearly that was the emphasis, and that's what we did. I think now that we're into year 3 in the program, you know, we certainly don't want to abandon that, but we have some very specific needs that we have in the program that if we can't find those needs locally, we may have to stretch ourselves a little bit more and go to other areas.
If I remember correctly, so the state of Bowling Green was Ohio, the neighboring states, and within a 5-hour driving range?
You know, I kind of changed that definition to whatever makes it convenient at the time. No, I'm kidding. It's, what I just say is anything within a 5-hour radius. And if you look at our recruiting class a year ago, I think 23 of the 25 were within those 5 hours. But again, last year was a class that we just had so many, we had numbers. And if it was a good football player, we were going to take them. And now that we're year 3 into it, you know, at times there's good players maybe in our backyard that we won't recruit because it's not a positional need. We've clearly got to address the offensive line, the secondary, the receivers for the following year, and defensive ends. And, you know, we feel very good about where we are at linebacker. You know, so last year we wouldn't pass on a good player 3 or 4 hours away because we had needs at every position. You know, linebacker's a position, we're probably not going to sign a lot of guys there just because, you know, we feel very good about Dwayne Woods, we feel good about Paul Swan, and we thought, you know, Eric Jordan as a redshirt freshman showed improvement, and I'm really excited about Gabe Martin and DJ Lynch. I think we've got a good foundation there. You know, so this class is more about addressing specific needs in the program and specific positions, and if we can find those within 5 hours, great. If not, we'll go anywhere to find it because we can't not address it.
So linebackers kind of deep. Is there any other position that's particularly strong with that?
I feel very good about where we are at tight end. Certainly Alex Baer as a redshirt freshman, Tyler Beck as a true freshman, Clay Rolfe and Kendall Montgomery. And that's an example of just good players that we didn't want to pass on. And we took them, and now we feel that we're in pretty good shape at tight end for the next couple of years. You know, we'd like to take a quarterback every year if we could. You know, that's just, you know, a belief I have. You take one a year, and you always have competition at that position because that's one position you can never be cut short at.
in terms of recruiting and special teams, how obviously you are graduating a senior punter, but at the end of the year you're using a freshman kicker. Where does that fit in the recruiting?
Again, if it's somebody that will make us better, we're going to take them. You know, our kicking game, certainly our punting game improved this year with Brian Wright. Our kickoffs improved this year with Brian Wright. our inability to make a field goal ever at a critical time has killed us. It's been 2 years that we can't hit an important field goal. It goes back to the bowl game a year ago, and then just this year, missing the field goal at Troy, missing the field goal against Buffalo. Our last chance to get into the game at Toledo, we missed a field goal. We missed a field goal at the end of the half. And I don't care if the answer to that problem comes within the program or outside the program, but clearly that has to get a lot better. It's embarrassing, our field goal percentage. I mean, I would imagine most good high schools kick a higher percentage of field goals than we do. And the guys in the program got to get better, or we need to find somebody that can beat them out. We have guys with ability, we just have been extremely inconsistent with it.
Well, you talked a little bit about personnel. I mean, at this point in time, do you see, coaching changes on your staff or anything like that right now?
I mean, I'm not making any changes. I like our staff. Guys work extremely hard, and we all accepted this challenge together. They're certainly all invited back. I hope none of them leave. I'm sure that some of them will have opportunities, but hopefully we'll keep them here. We have good coaches, and you hear other coaches say this. They certainly did not become stupid in the last year. They were good coaches a year ago when we won, and they were good coaches this year when we struggled. As a staff, do we need to examine everything we're doing? Yes. You don't go through a year that you don't have to look at your offensive systems, your defensive systems, and make sure you're doing what's best for your program. And we'll go through that evaluation like we always do. But I like our staff. I feel good about them, and I'm very confident it's a group of guys that will get us where we need to go. And where we need to go is we need to be winning championships.
But player-wise, I realize it's only been less than a week, but has there been any attrition in those first couple of days?
Yeah, there might be. I mean, in some positions there might be a guy not playing that, maybe they want to look at going to a 1AA school where they have the opportunity to play more. But, I'm not comfortable talking about who and what and where until it actually happens. It's not fair to them to talk about it.
Obviously not anyone particularly, but if the guy does leave, is that a thing where it's like a gentleman's agreement where he doesn't go to another MAC school or something like that?
Typically, in the MAC, there's a conference rule that's really makes it very difficult to transfer within the conference. And generally, my policy is that we'll, release them to a place that we don't play against them. They've been in our meetings for a year and know our signals and our audibles and all that stuff. And it's certainly not in the best interest of the program that they're on another sideline. So we'll help them. But again, there's not a lot of that going on. There might be 1 or 2 guys. That's it. And I'm not even 100% sure that's going to happen. So we have a very young team, and I think most of these guys are committed to what we're doing. Not everyone has the role they want, but that's normal. So they need to fight for the role they do want.
I was just going to say, it sounds to me like they may not have the role they want right now, but you haven't closed the door on them not getting that role.
No, I mean, we try to be honest with our players in terms of where we see them and what they need to do. It's the nature of college football. Some guys take that challenge on and go after it, and those are usually the guys that experience success. And if guys don't want to do that, they obviously have other options and choices. So, we don't want people to be here that don't want to be here. And again, I feel very good about what's in our program. Like I tell our team, the problems we have, all the answers are in the same room.
Now being not